Will, we're keeping up here on Ring TV. That gives us a chance. Keep sending your tweets using the hashtag #RingTV. Farkhad Sharipov, living in Florida, originally born in Kyrgyzstan. Been in Florida 10 years. Nicknamed the Crazy Russian. And there you see from the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy in Riverside, Jonathan Navarro. His dad right there behind him. Navarro, stablemate with Hector Tanahara, who had a good showing in Dallas, Texas on the Canelo show. But the man who stole the night on the undercard, Joshua Franco, the professor, with a monster knockout. He's watching in San Antonio. Congrats for your win, Joshua. And here you see some highlights of the last time the fighter Navarro was in the ring.
Yeah, this was at StubHub Center, and I believe it was on the undercard of the Francisco Vargas Orlando Salido show, and it was the first time Jonathan Navarro fought outside of Belasco Theater as a pro, and he gave the fans something to see. He was in with a very tough opponent from Texas, only had one loss, and he basically just broke the guy down with body shots before he switched his attention to the guy's head. Look at that beautiful uppercut on the inside. That's all she wrote. Oh, got him again on the way down. Jonathan Navarro does not mess around.
Yeah, that was a second round KO over Mark Torres. That was early on in StubHub, and that was one where people were walking in like, oh, oh, okay. Making some noise. Good stable that Robert Garcia has in Riverside. Also has a gym in Oxford, still has that. Robert's saying, Steve, he has around 50 fighters that he's training in some capacity.
And I think this fight was scheduled a little bit earlier than usual, given the fact that Robert Garcia is in the corner tonight of Michael Perez in our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division, presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with Cerveza Tecate Born Bold. 6 rounds de combate en la división de peso welter. Your 3 judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces, Fernando Villarreal, Max De Luca, and Zachary Young. And your 3rd man inside the ring, el tercero en la superficie, para medir las acciones, Tony Krebs. Entering into your first, the fighter standing in the blue corner, wearing black trunks. His official weight, 140 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo color negro, con un peso de 140 libras. Professionally, he stands with 4 victories against 8 losses and 1 victory coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 4 victorias, 8 derrotas y una victoria por la vía del knockout. Fighting out of Kissimmee, Florida, Farkhad Sharipov. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim. Official weight, 141 pounds. Y su oponente en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo blanco con azul, con un peso de 141 libras. Professionally, he stands unblemished with 6 victories, and 5 of his victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord perfecto de 6 victorias y 5 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Representing East LA, California, damas y caballeros, Jonathan the Thunder Navarro.
Okay, fellas, punches here and up are good. Obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, go back to the corner. Good luck to both of you.
Tony Krebs, the 3rd man in the ring tonight with the instructions as we get ready to go 6 rounds in the super lightweight division. 140 pounders going at it. Jonathan Thunder Navarro, 20 years old, 6-0, 5 KOs from East Los Angeles, California. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 32 years old. Navarro, Doug, you know his entire family. You've seen him since he was basically a toddler in the gym. He comes from a fighting family in East LA.
Yeah, I was training with one of his uncles, Nacho Navarro, when he was born 20 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, he has other uncles. Jose Navarro was a top contender and a world title challenger at junior bantamweight, and Carlos Navarro was a junior bantamweight, featherweight, fringe contender, and an incredible U.S. amateur.
Farkhad, Sharipov. And then you see the Navarro family looking on. You don't have to stream that with your phone. We got Ring TV for you, baby. And you'll get the replay tomorrow. Actually, later on the night, the crack staff from Ring TV puts it up immediately. Go to the Golden Boy YouTube page to see archive fights of all of Navarro's 6 fights have been on Golden Boy. All of his fights have been at the Belasco, and one was at StubHub. This is the first time he's at Fantasy Springs. Got a lot of friends and family in attendance. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 4-8, more of an MMA fighter, and he will switch southpaw to orthodox with ease. He is a fighter who came to the United States 10 years ago. Why? He said he looked on the map and Florida was nice. So that's how he ended up there. He's actually took this fight on Wednesday, last minute notice, because the original opponent for Navarro fell through. Razo found this guy, and I think Yusti tweeted about it, how they gave him a good matchup here.
Yeah, well, taking a look at this, pedestrian record, 4-8, lost 7 in a row, but it has to be noted, he's never been knocked out. For one thing he seems to be pretty crafty, switch hitting, and he seems to have durability. Some of the names on his resume, Kevin Watts, Raynell Williams, and Samaje Thomas. So he's been in there with some other prospects.
And he's pesky in there. He's a difficult opponent, in part because he's tough and he's game, but also, and Mario, you alluded to this, he's a switch hitter. He's got a very awkward but also mobile boxing style.
You said never been knocked out, nor has he ever hit the canvas. He's never been down. But the reason that pedestrian record, he uses boxing to stay in shape. He's an MMA fighter, a jiu-jitsu black belt, more of a wrestler. He actually has an opportunity to win a MMA belt in a different league, Titan FC. It's in Miami. October 30th is his main event. He's the main event fighter in that. He's using today, as he said, a chance to come out and spar and take advantage and work on my craft, the striking part. So he's here, he's in shape, he's ready to go. It's going to be an interesting night for Navarro.
Let him go.
As of now, my training camp is real good. We've been training really hard. I've been sparring with, Mike, Perez. We both help each other out for this fight. I've been sparring with Rocha, Alexis. And other than that, I love the training camps there. It's real fun. Always something new happening. To me, this fight, it's really important to me because he's a 5-1 fighter, and that's his record. And, beating him will move me up more because he's a very tough opponent. I'm really trying to improve on my head movement. That's all I've been working on in sparrings. I'm always moving my head more, trying to be light on my feet because, I do see that, sometimes I am a little stiff and, I forget to move, but that's something I'm really improving on.
Jonathan Navarro, 20 years old, East LA, where he was born and grew up. Now lives in Riverside at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. It's essentially a dorm that they have there with Navarro, Joshua Franco. You have Hector Tanahara, Michael Perez, the main event, also lives there. These guys didn't go to college. That's where they're going. They're learning to get away from home. They're growing up on their own. Robert Garcia restocked his young stable, and he mentioned the fighters he's sparring against. Some of the most elite spots. When you go up against Mikey Garcia and you're sparring, that can't be replicated.
That's a learning experience, and Navarro realizes that he's very much a work in progress, obviously. He's just 20 years old. And he's trying to work on, he's trying to improve fight by fight, and wants to show us different aspects of his game, different aspects of what he's learning in the gym with each bout.
Navarro has 6 wins, 5 knockouts, so certainly early on he's shown some punching prowess. I get the sense early on this is going to be a bit of an experience for him. See how he can hold himself together fundamentally. This looks like a fight that's going to see the final bell. Sharipov has certainly perfected the art of survival. So let's see what Navarro can do in terms of staying fundamentally sound and being able to corral a very, very awkward opponent.
Also staying focused against somebody who can be frustrating. Because he's not just surviving, he's pesking in there. When you relax a little bit, that's when he tries to swat you with some punch from an odd angle.
And for young fighters, it's one thing when they say, okay, we're going to throw you up against the southpaw. That's how you prepare. This dude is switching after every single punch from southpaw to orthodox. That's got to be interesting. It's also going to see if he gets frustrated for Navarro. Thunder Navarro, you see across his belt, the nickname, yes, his favorite fighter, Arturo Thunder Gotti. The late, great Arturo Gotti. Referee Tony Krebs getting in there.
And Beto, there is a slight abrasion right around the left eye of Navarro. And I think, again, that's from some of the pesky work that's being done by Sharipov, who's very sneaky with his punches.
Sharipov said he's always been about the combat sports as a kid. Good body work landed by Navarro.
About Sharipov, I would certainly say that his attack is not paint by numbers. There's nothing really fundamental about it. It's not what you do textbook-wise. He just kind of makes it up as he goes along, and those can be the most difficult guys to look good against.
Can you learn anything from that, Steve?
Yes, learning how to adjust and adapt. This will be valuable experience. Will this be the type of fight for Navarro that he'll put on his highlight DVD? I don't think so, but listen, you learn more in fights like this than first-round blowouts.
This is where broadcasters earn their money. You got to come with a lot of information, and you got to keep your eyes on what's going on. Good shot landed by Sharipov. Final seconds of the second round. Scheduled for 6.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 1 minute away from your live VIP meet and greet with Iran the Blade Barkley, former middleweight.
There you see the co-main tonight. Renato Gomez from San Diego, also trained by Robert Garcia. He will be taking on Vernon Alston, a veteran out of North Carolina. Gomez going really high on this kid. Standout amateur. He's another one who's had fights come up, and all of a sudden the opponents just don't get on the plane. They don't show up.
Yeah, he's intimidating. I mean, he's fought twice, but we haven't seen a collective 2 rounds from him yet. See if tonight's opponent can get out of the opening round.
Well, he's in the building, so that helps.
That does help.
Keep sending your tweet just like Mr. Boxing Guru is sending right now. Everybody out on Friday night. Veronica Villela in Monterey Park. Thank you for watching on your Roku. Third round scheduled for 6. Navarro in white and blue. Sharipov all black. Ran into him in the lobby today. How do you say your name? He says Sharipov. So I'm trying my best.
Sharipov.
Speaks 4 different languages. English, Russian, and is native from Kyrgyzstan. He said there's another regional language that he speaks. Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, along the Silk Road. Tian Shan Mountains surround it. Now calling Kissimmee, Florida. Spring training home for a lot of baseball teams home. Navarro swinging and missing with that uppercut. Robert Garcia, Navarro's trainer, has an interesting night. Not only does he have Navarro right now, but the co-feature is Renato Gomez, who we saw. Then the main event is Michael Perez.
Yeah, he's busy tonight.
Robert's saying that it's a team effort. His son, Pete, will be involved doing the mitts while he's out here working the corner. His father, Robert's father, is actually in attendance tonight. He's going to help out.
Eduardo, yeah.
Big G's going to help out with the. Also, Mikey Garcia's back there, so it's a family affair helping everybody out.
Yeah, the family that really sparked boxing in Oxnard, California,
Robert,
2 or 3 decades ago. It started on the amateur level, and so many of these guys blossomed as pros. Robert Garcia and then Fernando Vargas, who was trained by his father.
How about this Robert schedule? I'll never complain about driving. He lives in Riverside at a new facility, drives every morning to the 8:05, works those guys till about 11, 2-hour drive back to Riverside to work the fighters here around 1 o'clock, and keeps on going 5 days a week.
That's the work ethic that he got from his father. His father was, and he worked in the strawberry fields in Oxnard, and he would work all day and then train all night at La Colonia Boxing Club in Oxnard.
Yep.
And his dad cultivated a future world champion in his own son, Robert, but also a U.S. Olympian and two-time junior middleweight champion, Fernando Vargas.
That's all being taught to Jonathan Navarro, the fighter in the white and blues. In with Farkhad Sharipov. 10 seconds to go in the third round. It's scheduled for 6th, second bout of the night. Golden Boy Promotions on the road in Indio, California at the Fancy Springs Resort and Casino.
Fight fans, you want to save these dates? Mark these dates on your calendar for the real fight fans you do not want to miss. October 7th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. November 4th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. But on November 18th, right here at Fantasy Springs Casino, live on Estrella TV, Mauricio Maestro takes on Pablo Cesar Cano. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, we know Pablo Cesar Cano, Mauricio Herrera, they bring it. These are two fighters that are going to go to war right here inside of Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. So get your tickets before they sell out. Fantasy Springs Resort Casino box office. Herrera, Cano, here, November 18th, Fantasy Springs.
Sweet Child of Mine, DJ Ray with the tunes here at Indio, California. A favorite of Joel De La Hoya, manager, is watching tonight. Joel, of course, loves the 80s. As Steve Kim does.
Oh, so do I.
As you found out at the gym this morning, huh? They play the 80s just for you, Kimster.
Oh, boy, when Buffalo Stance came on from Nina Cherry, boy, I hit that treadmill, I tell you. You know, this has to be a very frustrating experience for Navarro. You could almost see the gears grinding in his head, trying to find a way to hit this guy clean, and this guy simply does not allow himself to be a flat surface at any time with all the switch hitting he does, and he's very evasive, especially with his upper body.
Yeah, the upper body is moving all the time. His entire body is moving with his lateral movement. And as you said, the angles are always changed. There's never a flat surface. He's southpaw, he's orthodox, but he's always got his shoulder forward.
Navarro, 20 years old. 15 total pro rounds coming into this fight. Last 3 wins were by second round KO. Well, he's grinding it out tonight against Frank Sharipov, the crazy Russian with the nickname.
I see where he gets that nickname. He's got a crazy style. And this is the definition of unorthodox.
Sharipov walking around. At the Fancy Springs, they have a lot of the displays of the fighters that have been here. And you see Oscar's face, or some of the other fighters have been headlined here at the Special Event Center. And he was just enjoying it, taking pictures of those guys. He's just a fight fan.
Speaking of which, the special guest of the venue this weekend was the Blade, Iran Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-hitting middleweight of the 80s and 90s. Always had the number of one Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Yep, shocked the world in his first fight with Tommy Hearns. I believe that was that 1988?
88 or 89.
89, yeah. Knocked him out in 3 rounds to earn the WBC middleweight title. And then some years later in the early 90s, they fought as light heavyweights. And he took Tommy Hearns' WBA light heavyweight title with the majority decision, I think.
Also involved in the fight of the year, I believe, in 88 or 89 against the great Roberto Duran in Atlantic City.
That's right, that was 89. That was Ring Magazine's fight of the year, and I could watch that fight every day for the rest of my life.
I actually did watch it every day because my brother recorded it on VHS, which is a tape which you kids will figure out. Just Google it. And it was on loop at home, and my brother showed it to me last night. That's the fight that just got me really into boxing. I was around 10 years old. I was like, wow, this is great.
That's a perfect fight to get into boxing because they had everything. They had the skill, the technique, and the heart and the guts.
I got to go find my way to
Both
fight
fighters.
the Blade.
Yeah.
I thought it was the only Barkley around was Charles Barkley. And I was like, no. Going to the 5th round, Navarro and Sharipov.
Well, right now is a great time to say happy birthday.
Our main event tonight, Michael Perez, Peter Petrov. eliminator. Who is Michael Perez? He's from Newark, New Jersey, Puerto Rican blood.
2008 National Golden Gloves lightweight champ. He was a good amateur, and he's a well-schooled pro.
And they're singing Las Mañanitas, which is the birthday song in Spanish to Ramiro, Golden Boy PR. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Mr.
birthday, Ramiro.
Gonzalez.
Former La Piñon rider, and here's some highlights from this fight.
And Navarro was able to close the gap a few times in this round. But Sharipov has limited his offense. He's not the two-fisted warrior we're used to seeing because of that strange style.
He's also, Sharipov found out on Tuesday that he had this fight. He said at one point in his career, everybody in the Florida area knows that he's always in shape because he just stays in the gym training. He got called earlier this year, the day of the weigh-in. How much do you weigh? Told him, good, get here. We will get you on the scale. He said he's just always in shape because
Beto,
he's always he knows his role.
That is the life of an opponent. Have gloves, will travel. And basically, if you're within range of weight, they will change the contract.
Oh,
they
yeah?
will accommodate you. Because sometimes that A side, that young prospect, they want to get that fight on. They've sold tickets. They've trained for weeks on a time. Shows are dependent on the headliners coming through with fights. This is why guys like Sharipov are very, very valuable to the sport.
In all black, Jonathan Navarro from East LA. Navarro loves living in Riverside because Robert has horses out there. Navarro actually has his own quarter horse, he and his dad have, and he loves riding the horses. He said it's an escape. But, you know, when you grow up in East LA, the Boyle Heights area, everything's congested, it's tight, a chance to get out, figure out nature, see something.
Beto, there's not a lot of thoroughbreds running on Whittier Boulevard.
There's people running on Whittier.
That I can attest to.
The Phillies running around there.
Orale.
Fifth round, scheduled for 6. Navarro this is the kind of fight where some fighters, Steve, they're like, I don't remember fighting this, I don't remember this, but this is the one where he's going to remember.
No, he is. And one thing Navarro's going to learn, and one thing we've seen about him, he likes to step hard on that front foot and really load up on that left hook. I think this is a fight. He has to take some steam off of his punches, work in volume, and just work on touching this guy to set up his power punches. Because when he loads up on his punches, you see the elusiveness of Sharipov.
Keep those tweets coming. Use the hashtag RingTV. Linus, we know you're tweeting us. You tweet us every round. We do appreciate it.
Our security blanket from Philadelphia. Hail Villanova.
Exactly. Appreciate all that. Everybody in San Antonio still watching the Franco family. And Bam Rodriguez, good amateur, watching, 16-year-old, younger brother of the professor. Heard some news coming from Bam coming soon. Good right landed by Sharipov. At least I think it was a right. Moves so quick.
I know, it gets confusing.
Well, Linus
definitely confusing to poor Navarro.
Our guy Linus described him as a fighting amoeba. I wish I would have come up with that. That's exactly what he is.
Way smarter than me. Final seconds of the 5th round.
Oh!
The president of Golden Boy Promotions, Eric Gomez, on the right, newly appointed. And the man with the uppercut, great hair, 22 years old, Ramiro.
Viva Ramiro.
Director of PR for Golden Boy Promotions, former longtime scribe at the La Piñon. I don't know how you have birthdays if you get younger. That's it. When the president,
everyone's got to get that birthday kiss from El Presidente.
Yeah.
You know what that is right there? That's job security.
Navarro trying to work a jab, runs right into it was a straight right from the crazy Russian. And I don't know if that was enough to take the round.
No, I don't. But you know what, Doug? That's the frustrating part and the difficult part of fighting a guy like Sharipov. They do so much defense, but every once in a while, they'll actually throw a hard punch.
You can't fall asleep in there.
6th and final round. Jonathan Navarro Frank Sharipov, East LA, Navarro. He's undefeated. It's a slip. Navarro had a lot of friends and family in attendance. His dad's in his corner. Sharipov mentioned has that MMA fight October 30th in Miami. You have guys who, you have a tune-up fight. But this is different. This is a tune-up fight in a different sport. Keep the tweets coming. Dougie Fisher, IE, Steve, UCN Live. Make sure you listen to Steve's podcast with Miguel Montoya.
The Montoya factor?
There it
No,
is.
some guy named Mario Lopez.
Lopez has been busy, so I didn't hear it this
He's always
week.
busy.
I didn't get, you guys didn't do the questions this week.
You know what? He has a very tight schedule. He literally had 25 minutes, and our show was 25 minutes.
You're just as busy.
You know what? He is.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but I call him Brown Mexican James Brown. He is the busiest man in showbiz.
Well, you can pass along a couple jobs to some other Mexicans around here. Talking about our production staff here. And make sure you check out Doug's mailbag. Another excellent mailbag on Friday and Monday. You've been getting some good emails, Doug. I really love the reaction to the Linares-Crolla fight this weekend.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. September was a terrific month for boxing, I think.
Linares and Crolla. Linares, congratulations to the Venezuelan fighter. He will now possibly take on the winner, Michael Perez and Peter Petrov.
Yep, that'll probably be later next year, the winner of tonight's main event. As Steve alluded to, there's a rematch clause with Crolla.
Oh.
He might go back to England. I mean, that's where the money is. That's where the crowds are. And I think Linares is very comfortable fighting on the road. And I definitely think his title victory September 24th was maybe the best performance of his career.
Jonathan Navarro in the white. Very quiet, methodical thinker. Gets the job done. He's not a fighter to be brash and talking loud and look at me. But here he is mixing it up well. The kid can crack at the age of 20.
Yeah, and he's feeling good that Sharipov was finally planting his feet and willing to get into exchanges. It got to feel good for him to land some heavy punches.
Just as I say Navarro doesn't talk, I see him say, come on. Feeling good. Sharipov takes a deep breath. Good final round for Navarro. 10 seconds to go in the fight. Good right landed by Navarro. That'll do it. They go 6 rounds. They hug. Sportsmanship between the two. Highlights from the fight in England over the weekend. There you see Roberto Diaz, Golden Boy matchmaker with them. Linares from Venezuela. Crolla. A lot of respect between these two fighters, and they went at it.
It was a beautiful match of styles. With Linares, you had the speed and fluid athleticism and just brilliant combinations. And with Crolla, you had the steady, smart pressure. Nice choice body shots in there. He was able to actually split Linares' guard with jabs and uppercuts, but it was Linares every round with those flashy body head combinations.
I don't think there's as stylistically a beautiful lightweight or maybe fighter that exists in the world today. This was a nip and tuck fight. I got the sense that Linares had built an early lead, and Doug, it's interesting, coming into the championship rounds, Linares stepped on the gas pedal, and he needed to.
He did.
Because he was down on 2 of the 3 scorecards going into the 10th.
Absolutely. He needed to win rounds 11 and 12 to prevent a draw. Michael Perez, number 3 in the WBA, and he's fighting Peter Petrov in the main event tonight. Petrov's either number 1 or number 2 in the WBA, so 2 top WBA contenders. They get to fight Linares sometime next year, and it's not just the WBA title on the line, it's the Ring Magazine Lightweight Championship. Recognition as the best lightweight in the world.
You are needed in your locker room immediately.
Damas y caballeros, después de 6 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. After 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, Fernando Villarreal, Max De Luca, and Zachary Young, have scored the same of 58 to 56. Los 3 jueces coinciden en tarjetas 58 a 56. Por lo tanto, su ganador por la vía de la decisión unánime. Your winner by the way of unanimous decision East LA, California, Jonathan, the Thunder, Navarro.
Jonathan Thunder Navarro improves to 7-0, unanimous decision. He had to work for it. It wasn't easy. Learning moment for the 20-year-old.
No, there's that old saying, win tonight, look good tomorrow. And literally, if you go in there with Sharipov, that needs to be the mantra. You might win, but you're not going to look stylish doing so. But a valuable learning lesson, Doug, for that young man.
Yeah, and it was a competitive fight in the view of the official judges. Just a 2-point fight, 58-56. That means Navarro won 4 rounds. Sharipov won 2. So Sharipov was definitely in this fight. You see a nice little hook from Sharipov. Sharipov sticking, moving, pot-shotting. Navarro stalking methodically, patiently, trying to get it done on the inside, but he kept getting tied up by the expert grappler.
Navarro trained by Robert Garcia. So Garcia's 1-0 tonight. He has 2 more fighters on the card, including the main event, Michael Perez against Peter Petrov. 20-year-old Jonathan Navarro, East LA, making the family proud. He's now 7-0.